Fastest way to pay off 38 credit cards? Let's say that totals up to $50,000 in debt. There's a way to resolve up to 40% of that $50,000. So you're saving up to 20 grand or more right there. That will bring down those monthly payments and allow you to make some real progress on your debt. A lot of people are doing this and it's helping them out. Watch this video.
Hey, Robert Herjavec from Shark Tank. I'm a huge fan. Hey, what is your number one tip for saving money?
Easy. Pay off your credit card debt as soon as possible. And there's actually a way to do that without paying the full amount.
What if I can't afford to pay more every month?
You actually don't have to pay more. In fact, your monthly payments go down, and they can go down as much as 40%.
So monthly payments go down, total debt goes down, and I can be out of debt that fast. So what do I need to do?
Thousands of people have done this. It's insane how well it works. Watch my video. It explains everything. If you've got credit card debt or personal loan debt, you know it can weigh on you. Those interest rates compound daily. You can keep moving the debt around, maybe take out a personal loan, but eventually it starts to feel like a situation you're never going to get out of. But here's what the credit card companies don't want you to know. You could qualify to get the amount you owe cut by up to 50% just by filling out one form online. It takes about 10 minutes. That's it. If you follow these simple steps. My name's Robert Herjavec, and you probably know me from the hit show Shark Tank, where my job is to help people grow their small business. But this video is about helping people do something even more important: get out of debt. A lot of people don't know this, but my very first job was helping people get out of debt. In fact, I've been helping friends burdened by credit card companies' high interest rates for years. And most of the time, it is not their fault. There's a really simple method that those struggling can use to cut the amount they owe by up to half without taking on more debt. I used to think if you owe 20 grand, you had to pay that full 20 grand, plus a lot more in fees and interest. But now I know that for a lot of people, you could be taking advantage of programs that can eliminate a lot of that principal and interest. This can also reduce your monthly payments significantly, and you could be debt-free in as little as 30 to 48 months. Now look, this is not for everyone. This video will help to explain who qualifies, the pros and cons, and how much money they're saving. The people you're seeing all saved thousands of dollars erased from their debt, and you may be able to as well, if you know how. In fact, people who followed these steps ended up paying about 45% less than what they originally owed. That's right, tens of thousands of dollars. People are calling this the debt clearing method. And whether you owe $15,000, $30,000, even $50,000 or more in debt, this could work for you. But no matter how much debt you have, there's one thing I caution against that will keep you in debt for a long time. Debt mistake number one, making minimum payments every month. This is the most common way people handle their debt. Unfortunately, for a lot of people, it's the worst. I learned this firsthand over 30 years ago in Canada, where I grew up. The first job I actually had was at a credit card collection agency. I got to tell you, I hated it. The people working collections would yell and scream at people, making them feel bad about not being able to pay their bills. But I saw it differently. I didn't grow up with money. My dad swept floors in a factory, and my mom was a receptionist. They were good, hardworking people, just like the people I talked to on the phone with debt. Debt can happen to anyone. It's nothing to be ashamed of. Heck, a lot of the richest people on the planet have dealt with debt. So instead of raising my voice, I would just talk to people and get to know them and try to figure out how to actually help them pay off their debts as fast as possible. I would figure out ways to work with the credit card company on their behalf, get their fees lowered, and a lot of the time, I found ways to help them pay off their debts for way less than what they actually owed. People loved it. And for the next 2 years, I was able to work with the credit card companies to get countless people out of debt. And the first tip I would tell people was always the same: stop making minimum payments. Let's say you have $20,000 in credit card debt. Okay, not too bad. You can probably pay that off in time. But if you make only the minimum payment, it'll take you over 34 years to pay that off. And you'll pay an additional $30,000 in interest. And that's at the low interest rate they start you at. But what happens if you're late on a payment? Interest rates go up, and people often see their monthly payment increase. and in some cases, almost double. They advertise rates as low as 0%. But why do they do that? Because they know that any normal person will eventually make a late payment. It can happen to anyone. Maybe you lost your job, went through a divorce, or had an unforeseen medical issue. Unfortunately, most people think there's nothing they can do about it. So how do we get some relief? One way is debt option number 2, a debt consolidation loan. I know people are really interested in these loans, so let's talk about the pros and cons, because there's a lot of misinformation out there. The pro is you usually turn all those separate debts into one monthly payment, which is nice. And you finally get those creditors off your back, but it's not a perfect solution. You still owe the exact same amount and you're still paying interest. So this is a good but not great way of handling personal debt. What I've discovered and what everyone with debt needs to know about is that there's a solution that for a lot of people is the best choice of all. It's debt option number 3, debt negotiation. For a lot of people, this is their favorite solution because it accomplishes the 3 things everyone with debt wants. Number 1, you lower your monthly payment immediately. Number 2, you eventually eliminate future interest. And best of all, you can reduce the actual amount of money you owe by 30, 40, even 50%. That's right. You can cut your debt by up to half. And in as little as 30 to 48 months, you can become debt-free. How is that possible? Well, let's start with a secret that most people don't know. Most credit card companies, as well as personal loan companies, have a specific situation in which they will negotiate debt relief with you, even if you owe tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of dollars. And what's that situation? It's called financial hardship. When you undergo what the banks refer to as a financial hardship, you put them in a tough spot. Many people undergoing financial hardship stop paying the bank completely. They can't even make the minimum monthly payment. Now, the credit card company could raise your rates or tack on late fees, but they're also more open to settling your debt for less than what you owe. And that's when you're in the prime spot to make a deal. The problem is most folks don't have the relationships with the people at these banks to get the best savings. And even if you did, it's a tough negotiation that can take a long time, and they usually don't offer people a good deal at all. That's why I always say the negotiation isn't something most people have the time, the energy, or frankly, the industry know-how to do. But the good news is there's help out there. I was recently introduced to a company that fights for Americans struggling with debt, saving them a lot of money in the process. Specifically, there's a team with high-level relationships at the biggest banks who have cut through the red tape and can get people big savings fast. This is harder than most people think. You see, for years, there were people out there who did negotiate debt relief, but they would charge really high upfront fees. So if you owe $20,000 in debt, they might agree to negotiate with the banks for you, but they might charge you $3,000 in upfront fees before they save people any money at all. To me, that doesn't seem right. But fortunately, new laws have done away with all that, meaning teams can negotiate massive settlements with $0 in upfront fees. Nothing. Zero. A free service for Americans until they actually see debt relief. Well, imagine that. 45% of your total debt erased. And some settlements are higher, as high as 50% off. That's right, up to half of your debt vanishing just through this negotiating team. And here's the best part. No more interest. That's right. As soon as a settlement is reached, the interest stops completely. And about 25% of the team's clients see their first settlement just 30 days from their first program deposit. That means you could be just months away from saving thousands of dollars. And of course, with lower monthly payments and a large portion of your debt eliminated, you could be debt-free in 30 to 48 months, just like all the people you're seeing right now. I know you're probably wondering if you qualify and how you can take advantage of what for many people could be the best program ever for getting rid of debt. So let's talk about who qualifies, how this works, and how you can get that debt off your back starting today. How long do you stop making payments for? Well, it depends on which credit card or personal loan companies your debt is with. But typically, The amount of time to stop making payments is 4 to 6 months before the Debt Clear USA team can negotiate with your first creditor. Now, this brings us to an important point everyone needs to be aware of. When you stop making payments, your credit score will go down. But here's the good news. This is temporary. Once your debt is settled, your credit score should start to improve. So when this is all done, you could potentially save thousands of dollars, achieve financial freedom, and have a good credit score again. So how long does that take? Well, when you stop making minimum payments, the idea is to take that money and start saving it to make an offer to them. So let's give a real example of what this looks like. Let's say you have a $10,000 balance on 3 different credit cards. When you enroll in the Debt Clear USA program, you stop paying your minimum payment immediately if you haven't already, and you start putting money in your dedicated savings account. For a few months, your credit score goes down, and the banks may call you and try to get you to make a payment. I know people sometimes feel nervous about this. That debt relief is a great thing to do. In about 6 months, let's say you've saved up a few $1,000s. The Debt Clear USA team will get to work. The team will reach out to the first card and start the negotiation. They haven't gotten anything from you in 6 months, so they're itching to get some money, oftentimes much less than what you previously owed. The Debt Clear USA team negotiates a settlement, and when they feel like they've gotten the absolute best deal, they contact you by phone, email, and through the client portal with the offer. Great news. Your $10,000 debt is now just $6,000. We reduced it by 40%. Want us to finalize this deal and save you $4,000? If it looks good to you, you sign off and the debt is now gone. By the way, even if you don't have enough to pay off the full settlement amount right away, Debt Clear USA can negotiate a payment plan. This also helps them negotiate more settlements for you at the same time. But the best part is this payment plan will stop all new interest from accruing. You pay one smaller amount, that's it. So you didn't just save $4,000. You saved all the money in fees, charges, and interest the credit card company was going to tack on over the next few. Look at the savings people are getting every day. Imagine your name being on one of those letters and thousands of dollars of your debt being erased. And if you've got personal loans, guess what? The Debt Clear USA team are experts at negotiating with them too. By the way, only you control the money in your account. You alone approve settlements, and you can cancel the program at any time, risk-free. And however long it takes, you're going to sleep so much better at night knowing you're moving closer to being debt-free every day. That's the goal. Not just to save you thousands of dollars, which, let's be honest, that part is great. But even more importantly, to feel that stress lifted starting on day one, knowing you finally got a team of experts on your side who won't quit until the job is done. Listen, I know how heavy debt can be. It affects every facet of your life. Knowing there's this cloud hanging over your finances, it can make you lose sleep, lose confidence. It's almost like having a health problem and knowing you have to see the doctor, but you keep putting it off. And every day it goes on, those interest rates pile up and the debt gets bigger and bigger. Eventually, it feels like a mountain of a problem hanging over your head that someday is going to crush you. But take it from me. Your current situation is not your forever. The great thing about life is that we're defined not by what happened yesterday, but what we do tomorrow. And all you need to do is take one step. Click the Learn More button below and start the application process. You'll be in the hands of the best team in the industry and a team of experts who fight for you, not the banks. The deals they're seeing are seriously life-changing. On the website, you'll see thousands of people who have already done this process talking about the unbelievable results they've gotten. They've taken back control of their lives. What would you do with these savings and a debt-free life? The money you save could be used for a vacation you've been putting off, a new car, even a down payment on a house. Some people have been able to go back to school or start a new business once they finally get their financial health under control and their credit score higher than ever. Maybe you just want to sleep better at night, knowing your bank account is getting bigger every year, knowing that every dollar you earn is going to you, not some big bank's interest rate. Whatever your financial goals are, you can achieve them if you get your debts resolved once and for all. And with thousands, maybe tens of thousands of dollars in savings that you thought you would never see again. So if you're ready to join thousands of other people who've eliminated their debt, don't wait 1 second longer. Click the Learn More button below and let's get started erasing your debts for good.